Now that we've finished filling out our expenses, it's time to send those in. In the earlier video, I mentioned this Hide Sent Items checkbox. What this is for, if you notice, 2 of these have check boxes on them. The rest do not. These other ones, these last 3, have already been sent in to the finance office. And as you use this program more and more, you will have a good number of these in your list. And so for the purposes of sending, if we click on Hide Sent Items, that's going to take away the ones that we've already sent, and it's just going to leave us the ones that are out there that have been filled out but that have not yet been submitted. Right now we only have 2, so I can click on these individually. That checkbox has to be done in order to send, or down in the bottom left I can click Check All Unsent Items. And this will put, if you have a list of 30 items, it will check all 30 for you. After we've checked those, we click Create Expense Report. The first thing that's going to pop up is ask you what your beginning cash advance balance is. So I'm going to put in $3,000. And then just underneath that, there's a checkbox that says Use these expenses to pay down my cash advance. Check this box if you do not want to be reimbursed for the expenses that you're submitting, but instead you want those expenses to go against your cash advance. If you want to be reimbursed for these expenses, do not check this checkbox, because if you do check it, you will not be reimbursed. Click Next. I have special instructions for this report. If we click this, it's going to give us a little notes field, and we can type in a note. What this is for is this will attach a note to all of the line items that you're sending in. Each individual line item, as we saw in the expenses and incomes video, has a notes field for that particular one. This is a note for the entirety of what you're sending in. So if you had 30 lines, this will put this note on all 30 lines for you. Go to Next. This part of the wizard gives you 2 options. You can submit the expenses over the internet now, so that when we click on the final send button, it will submit it right now. Or you can save the expense report to a file so that you can go back to it later, or you can, if you don't want to submit it over the internet, you can email that into your FSTM rep. So if I uncheck this and have this one checked, all it's going to do is give me that file. It will not submit the expense report yet. Or I can uncheck this and only check this, and it will submit the expense report over the internet, but it won't save the file. And that is okay, because later on we're going to look at the expense reports tab up here. That information will always be saved within the application of itself. This is just for backup purposes. So for now, I'm just going to check Submit the ER over the internet, and I'm going to leave the Save ER to File unchecked. Click Next. This is your last chance to kind of look over what it is you're sending in, and so it will give you the date of the expense, what you put in as the description, the amount that you put in US dollar, the account number, and the project ID. So look over those. At this point, we can click Cancel, and we can go in and change whatever it is that needs to be changed, and then start this wizard over again by clicking Create Expense Reports. But everything looks good, so I'm going to click Send ER, and the bar will go through. Again, this is going to be sending in the attachments along with the line items. It'll give you a report here that it's sent and that both line items were imported. So I'm going to click OK here, and now you'll see that my lines can't be clicked on anymore. So when I uncheck this, I have nothing out there that's unsent. Once you have submitted the expense report, we can click on the expense report tab at the top here, and it will show us a log of everything that we've sent in to date. So here's the one that I sent today. Here's my special note. If I highlight that and click Show Selected Report, it's going to show me a report of what I sent in with date, description, the currency code, the local amount, the exchange rate of the USD amount. So this will be a record of what we turned in. You can then come down to the bottom right and click Save to PDF. And this will allow us to save this report as a PDF onto your hard drive or wherever it is you want to store that information. Again, a good backup system. I can click OK to get this down. I can also check the box on that line and click Export Checked Reports. And what that's going to do is save that ER file that I could have saved earlier in the Send Wizard. And this will export that so that if there was a problem, if something gets sent right, or if your FSTM needs some clarification, you can export this and email it to them. Finally, if there was a hiccup, or if you got an error saying that the expense report was not sent properly, but when you come to the expenses and incomes, you can't recheck it, come to the expense reports tab, again, check the box for the one that you sent, click Send Check Reports, and this will resend that expense report for you. Now, because I had already sent that one in, this is telling me it's already been imported, so I didn't do anything. Had there been a hiccup in the system or it wasn't sent over properly, when we hit Send Checked Reports, it would have sent it again and then come up with a message saying that everything was sent properly and tell you how many lines were sent. So just a little fail-safe mechanism there in case something happens. So that's how you send an expense report, and in the next video we'll look at what happens after you've sent it and how we in the finance office are able to communicate with you about your expenses using the expense report application.